Final show of the year. We are back. No Face Cuts podcast. Wrapping up. Sad time. It's always one of the most saddest parts of the year, but we're transitioning to NCAA hoops. Congrats to all the state champions out there. Boys and the girls side. A lot of history made. A lot of first timers, a lot of repeaters, a lot of gaps in between winning. So I'm gonna let my brothers kick off real quick and sort of give some super quick thoughts on what they saw last weekend, and then we'll transition into the into the show.
I'll go last. I'll go last.
Yuling, what you got?
There were some good results on both sides. I think Fian really came with a. They just did it. They punched back every time Central Catholic made a run. That game was definitely impressive. I mean, Brody carried that team, but he got the support he needed to beat a good Central Catholic team. I was very impressed with Medfield. I thought they'd win by 15. They won by a lot more. That was a great game. The Wachusett game was great. Salem made a big statement. So all the games were really good.
I guess I'll go next. Amazing weekend. Really a good one. I think to watch Magic happen the way it did for Bishop Fian being 14th seed and arguably, hands down the best player in the tournament, and the things he did was miraculous. Shouts out to him. Shouts out to that school. Shouts to all the champions. And on the girls' side, Wachusett's way to play. It's good to see. It was good to see good brand of basketball for the weekend last weekend. I think on both boys and girls, I think we saw some really good competitive basketball, and we've seen some individual magic from some special players. So I would say it was a fun weekend.
Fred, McCullough, one of you.
I was, even though they lost, I was impressed with Caprice Conyers from Pittsfield. That girl was locking up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many steals she ended up with, but it had to be in double digits, and it was just straight man to man, and she was just peeling them girls, and Pittsfield they made them sweat.
Literally almost stole the game.
McCullough, Fred.
To be honest, again, I think the expectation we have for this year's state tournament run, some historical moments, some high profile athletes. I was thoroughly impressed. I was a little disappointed on a couple of outcomes, but it is what it is, that's how you make your mark, Shout out to P Valley, young boy Bobby Sewell is definitely getting busy. That's how you become legends, and young man had a great championship game against Holbrook. But yeah, it was a great tournament. The kid Brody, I think that's a debate amongst us. Maybe at one point we might even discuss that. Is this the greatest run of all time? Like, you know what I mean? The kid averaged 40 and 20 was crazy. I think like 5 or 6 blocks or something. So, but yeah, it was a great tournament. Shout out to the young ladies that performed. I was a little disappointed on certain outcomes. I think I was bragging here and there, and I think they ended up blowing out the team. But anyway, great tournament run.
McCullough, you want to finish up?
I was just saying Caprice. That girl was D'ing up. Pittsfield, they made those girls sweat from Bishop Fenwick. There was a clear size advantage, but that didn't deter them. But they played really well.
This is probably the worst picks I've ever made in the championship weekend. I think I was like 4 and 6. It was pretty bad. I try to be the contrarian, which I'm 100% okay with because I'm me. But it was just well played all around. I thought, I don't care who gets mad, because y'all know I don't care who gets mad. I thought the overall, there were some boys games that were, I'm not comparing. I think the girls games really, really lived up to the hype and like lived up to some of the, with obviously Medfield. Medfield's the best girls team in the state. I don't care who says what, right? And if you take away some of those games, the girls games were excellent. Just a good, it's a great atmosphere, great place to be. I will give my man Jim Quattromoni a huge shout out, just listen. I don't know how the guy does it. I wouldn't trade places with him. Shout out to him. Obviously, the friend of the program, friend of the show. He's probably sleeping right now. We'll get him on some other time. But shout out to him and the work that him and the staff put in at the MIAA. Marcel.
Yeah, so I was front row and center for a bunch of the games, especially all the finals game. I saw every game but two, and those were the early games on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday. I saw all the games on Sunday. So I missed Wareham, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to see them. However, I think this was year 20 for me straight. This might have been the 20th year that I've attended straight. I know I've attended more, but 20 years straight this year. I mean, Jim and I were talking about that actually. This may be the overall best tournament I've seen. Not to be hyperbolistic or not to live in the moment, but these performances were great. To see, in the semifinal, Allen Brown Jr., he gets 46. Brody's behind us watching this. Fian sat right behind me. I was sitting all by myself. Fian comes, they sit down. Brody and his teammates watch the first 3 quarters of that game just about. And then Brody comes out and has 53. Then I think in the final, there's no way Allen Brown can drop another 40. And he gets 40 in the final. He didn't get the W. But and then Brody comes out and have a big game in the final. It was just amazing. Pittsfield in a loss, Pittsfield had a great game. Medfield, I thought, I think I picked Medfield to win, and I had him winning by, 8-10. I thought it was going to be a game. That wasn't even close. A lot of statement games, but I will say this. A lot of winners, even though they lost. A lot of teams that have some good futures going forward. Pittsfield is going to be good on the girls' side. Prospect Hill is going to be great. Even some of the teams that lost in the earlier rounds.
Springfield Central.
Springfield Central. Brockton's going to be really good.
To your point,
Brockton High is going to be really good next year.
If they get out their own way,
there's a lot of teams that didn't win the tournament or maybe didn't even make it to the finals, but they're going to be good. This was a great state tournament, one of the best historical tournaments all around the board. Go ahead now.
You could add Millbury to that list too. Millbury.
Millbury.
They're going to be really good next year. They got
Masco.
Jaden coming back. Yep.
Masco is going to be really good next year.
Greater Lawrence.
42-6 over the last 2 years.
Greater Lawrence, right?
Greater Lawrence,
right? It's Hanover, right? Like Salem.
Yeah.
Salem.
We'll be right back.
Salem is going to be very good.
Oh, let's not forget Georgetown. I mean, I think they only lost one kid. I think everybody else is coming back.
No, they lost a couple.
Georgetown's going to take a hit.
Okay.
Wareham has the chance to possibly run the table again. They only lose the one senior.
They got the one. They got two seniors.
Obviously, you can't forget Andover. Correct.
2 senior. Andover.
Yep.
There's a bunch of seniors. Let's move on.
Real quick for Andover. So Andover, they had a kid last season, Luca. I forget his last name. Last name starts with a P. He's at St. Mark's now. If Luca had stayed there this year with them, we'd probably be having a whole different result in that, or we might have had a different result because Luca Luca would be covering the big man, and he's not the same height, but he's just as big. He's only a couple inches shorter, but he was a big boy for them. Yeah, Luca Palmero. He would have been a big difference maker if they had if he hadn't gone to St. Mark's in that game.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Let's start with some outcomes really quick. Let me get it zoomed in here. Shout out to Bishop Fenwick. They won the state title. Good for them.
They missed the tour. They missed the tournament a couple years ago for stuff that.
I mean, like, my personal opinion, I really love watching them play. Everybody knew the assignment. I thought they were well coached. I think Central Catholic is there are coaches. Both teams were excellent, but Central Catholic is like a coach's dream, right? Like,
can I ask you a question real quick? So you mentioned Fenwick, but you're talking about Fian right now, correct?
No, Fian. I'm sorry.
Okay, you said Fenwick.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Okay,
I'm on Fian.
Okay.
Congrats to them. Well coached. They had they had a clear advantage with 6'9". But like also like the amount of joy they had as a team was excellent.
Yeah, I agree.
They just had fun. Central Catholic though, like I don't know. There's a very few coaching staffs that get everything out of their kids.
I said this.
Right? Like literally, they left nothing. They left nothing. Like they said, the kid, the Harvey couldn't shoot threes. He made about 5 of them. They left nothing. And the Fian kids on the other end were they literally knew the assignment, right? But my question, as folks who are around basketball, what would have been a game plan that you would have used against Brody?
Oh man,
Is there something? I mean, we're not criticizing anybody. We're just, as a coach, I put myself in that position all the time.
Should I go first since you and I?
You can go first.
Okay, so Corey and I have talked about this, and first of all, shout out to Mama Misty, Brody's mom, who I've been in contact with. Asked her on the show. Brody's so busy, he doesn't even get home till 9 o'clock at night. He does strength training. He's working on his pitching. They had trials for baseball. Hopefully, we all know he made the team, right? He, like I said, he lifts. He does recovery for his body. So Brody was not able to join us, but I did reach out. Now, Mom, I don't mean anything by this, but Brody would have had to get up off the floor a couple of times. I never see anybody, with a good basketball foul, a 1990s per se foul. Charles Oakley, Charles Barkley. I never saw anybody grab him or really make him earn like the basket. Like he got the ball and did whatever he wanted. I'm not going to allow that. Brody would have had to pick himself up off the ground and showed me at least twice. And I'm just very interested that nobody gave up a foul or nobody said, hey, we're going to put him on a line a little bit more. Now, if he knocks down his free throws, he knocks down his free throws. But a lot of time, Brody's just catching the ball and dominating people and laying it up with just will over skill. And you got to respect that. It's one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen the whole tournament. But yeah, you got to double him. You got to play zone. Corey and I talked about that. You got to play zone. And every time he catches the ball, all 5 people got to swarm him and make him kick out. See how good he is, how good of a passer he is out of the double and triple teams.
Agreed.
That is what, I just think at the front of my mind, like he would have had to get fouled hard at least twice, 2 times, not once. He would have had to pick himself up off the ground twice. And then every time he touches, we're swarming him. The ball, he does a good job of keeping the ball high and not putting it down where the little guys are at. But he would have been swarmed. And it was really interesting. Sometimes team would leave him covered one-on-one or play him man-to-man, and they would just throw the ball 94 feet, and he'd catch it and dunk it.
Three-quarter court.
Crazy,
Now,
crazy.
You can try to play me all you want and be like, oh, well, that may not work. But, like, Karl Anthony Towns only scored 22 points against one of our teams that we played a dot. He had another NBA player on his team. And to allow a three-quarter court pass without, and Marcel and I were talking about this, if you're throwing a three-quarter court pass, he's catching the ball on the way down, as opposed to if he's catching it from the wing when it's rising. It's different. That's the shit you can't guard. But if somebody's throwing a three-quarter court pass to someone, like, and then I once again, not being critical of anybody, I'm thinking as my own, personally as a coach, for some of y'all who run into another 6'9" behemoth, right? Like, everybody, that's the call. Everybody, Malcolm Smith, right, who used to coach at East Boston, now at New Mission, he had something called Duke. And every time a big kid caught the ball, it was everybody. Because the philosophy is anybody but him. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I zone Fiend, right? And I do a funky zone. I'm not doing a 3-2. Hell no. I'm not doing a 2-3. Hell no. What do we say? A 1-1-3, right? First the ball, then the top guy, the guy plays the second pass. You got to make 23s. Like ABH, anybody but him, And I was wondering at the time, obviously this is Monday quarterbacking, but I'll let some of you other brothers talk about what would you or like to see done different.
I think Wareham had a good game plan against them. There, Wareham got up on them 30. They had a really good game plan against them. They dragged them out, especially on they made them come out on defense. That opened up the paint.
Well, I also think Wareham's transition game is going to wear anybody out, right? And they're not trading those 3-for-2s.
Fiend started the season without two starters. Are we sure they played in those games?
This was at the end of the season. This was at the end of the season.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was like a week or so before the season was over.
Fair. You are correct. You are correct, McCall.
I think, and it's funny you guys are talking about this because I was talking about this morning with Coach Bunker of Latin Academy boys coach, and that was the big question, because even he said, he was like, you watch that game and you figure out what is it that you could have done, right? Like, obviously he's gonna get his points. He's amazing. I guess for me, if that was me, I think I'm putting the pressure on the guards. I think when you watch that, I think Central Catholic they did an amazing job. I think they could have gave more pressure to the guards to make it really uncomfortable for him to even get the ball, right?
I agree.
Like, you gotta force those guards into a situation to where making him have to come and get it versus him sprinting down the court and they're throwing that 3/4 court pass. He gets it and you're pretty much dead in the water. And I think that
shout out to my guy Randy watching. He said Brody loves contact. Players are bouncing off of him. I agree.
And I agree with that. But that's why I said that. But that's why I was saying you have to kind of go after the guards. Brody's going to get his points. He's going to do what he does. But if you disrupt the guards enough to where they turn, because they do turn it over, to get them to turn it over more by trying to force it to him, but make it uncomfortable for them. Maybe run and jump, or maybe, force a trap a little bit, something out of that 1-1-3 zone, right? Or even a half court man where you're forcing the guards to have to really, really figure out a way to get him the ball. I just think that you put the pressure on them before he gets it, and see what happens.
Real quick, because I know other people got it. I think the guards were good against Central. It's just really interesting to me, the Andover game when he got to 53. Yuli and I were there. He had about 25 in the third quarter. Going into the fourth, and he ended up with 53. You know what I mean? Like, and they were just throwing the ball three-quarter court. The Central guards did a good job. It's just interesting, even the entry passes, how easy they were in the Ando game, even a little bit of the Bridgewater Raynham game too.
Yeah, but that's how I was saying, Marcel. Like, I think just giving them a little bit of a pressure to disrupt that pass that they were throwing to him. That's why I was like, just kind of maybe bumping them off the line, or maybe face guarding them, or maybe making them have to speed up a little bit, But they did a really good job controlling the pace.
A local Division I coach texted me and said he would have played him with a guard and doubled with a big, and I love it. Playing with a guard
bracket coverage,
and you double with a big, right?
Yeah, bracket coverage.
Obviously, we have other folks to
Yep.
But shout out to Fian. Hey man, that was great, pure joy. Shout out to Central Catholic for getting that far. And really like getting the most. I hate that I forget number one from Central Catholic. I think he's a sophomore. I think he's a star.
Elkin Pena.
And the kid O'Keefe could shoot the crap out of the ball. He's an agitator. I love that. All right. St. Mary's at Masconomet. St. Mary's gets the win. Win in Lynn. McCullough.
Hey man. This was good. St. Mary's got up the double digits, and then fourth quarter came. They couldn't score. The ball stopped going in the basket, but they played defense. But that shot Jimmy Farrell took, that's a shot. I think in that fourth quarter he made it. I think he made like 3 or 4 of those shots from that spot, from that exact same spot. So they got the look they wanted. St. Mary's did a good job. They had 3 guys running after him. Because everybody knew where that ball was going. He had a wide open guy at the top of the key, but at that point, Jimmy's a senior. Coach Jacob, he wanted no one else to take that shot but Jimmy. But I got to give St. Mary's a lot of credit. Roki, with the play of the weekend with that dunk he had on Denton, that was a big time play. And St. Mary's they held on. That's all you can say. They held on. They made the plays late.
How are Lynn folks talking about? You talk about the tray ball, right? The shot. You know what the tray ball?
No, he's talking about the fadeaway the kid missed.
Nah, the ending fadeaway, the missed shot, the potential game winning shot that Jimmy.
I think this coach deserves a lot of credit.
Kilty.
Right? My whole theme is going to be no gray areas with coaching. Right? There was some terrible. It's either you not been good, or there was just some tremendous coaching. We've talked about tremendous coaching all night. To get a duck in for a game winner like that.
Oh, that was a great play. I rewatched it a couple times.
It was. I'm looking at how. And if you, in hindsight, I know the Masco coach is like, yo, you had to see this coming. Like I was like, there's no other way, there's no other play to call other than to get something in front of the rim.
And I think they ran it a couple times too in that game.
Right? So like
similar duck in the Central Catholic Beverly when Central Catholic went up on Beverly.
Similar like stretched them out, right? I think it's another good. Hey, Masco was missing their big.
Right? I don't think that would made much of a difference.
But here's the thing, right? The reason is St. Mary's, like, this is some history, right? You move up a division. They moved up, and the coach moved up 2 divisions.
Yeah.
And they win the state title the next year, right? It was so crazy that I started texting people like, yo, how many of these kids live in Lynn? But I heard 6. I heard 6, and I was like, all right, my bad.
Yeah, I just say it.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in real quick. Great job, St. Mary's. You held down the invitational. Some people didn't make it to the party. They got out early and got sent back to Washington Street, but you know how that goes. Because shouts out to Lynn. They do an amazing job over there. Got to give them credit where credit's due. I've always respected Lynn basketball. You see it from all the other schools as well. What can you say? You go from the good thing is a good showing by the Catholic schools because of last year and how all the Catholic schools moved up a division. And we see that they will still be able to, still able to compete and still win a state title. So I think I like what I see from St. Mary's. They might be my pick again next year. They'll probably have another invitational, and we'll see who shows up.
Corey, quick question.
Love it, G.
I don't know if you know this. We've been trying to figure it out. Has there been a coach to win a state champion at one school and then the following year win it at another school?
No.
Yeah, we've been trying to figure that out.
Back-to-back schools?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you mean the following year?
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
Kilty won it.
Nah.
Kilty won it last year.
Yeah.
At Georgetown this year at St. Mary's. We asked this question like last week. We was trying to figure that out. And
I don't think that's ever been done. Not to my knowledge.
Billy Locke won it at Southie and then won it at BC High. But this
Yep.
is
not back to back.
This is back to back. This is And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, right? Like, there's something there about that, right? Like, there's something about that style, and no knock on Dave. Dave left them in a good place, right? Like you're also at St. Mary's, right? Like, but there's something to that philosophy, and I want folks to understand, right? Kids can work out all they want. They could do whatever they want. They can work out 7-8 hours a day, whatever, skills, drills, all that cute stuff. What coaching does is prepares you for competition.
Right.
And that's what separates, if you look at people, the folks who take to coaching, they're different. Bashar McCants was the #1 player in the country. Look, that he even last 4 years in the NBA. Like, if you are not prepared for competition, Yuli, what do you think about the game?
I think it was a great back and forth game. I mean, St. Mary's, I always knew St. Mary's would win. They really controlled the tempo. They got the shots they needed. They played controlled and disciplined. I mean, that last play at the end, if he hit that shot, that would have been awesome. And that was a great play call. And, both coaches really coached to their best. I don't think there was any blunders or anything. So I thought that St. Mary's played the game well. They played it smart. They didn't lose control, and they did what champions do.
Absolutely.
Good point. I will say this about end of game plays. The duck in, obviously, you get off of misdirection. Dribble handoffs at the end of games is the most difficult thing to guard, even if you're switching. Depending on what you're trying to do, or if you're sending a screen for someone. It's just a very difficult thing. I'm not saying that's what happened here.
It depends on the time. Depends on how much time, but
it also depends on the time, right? That's why that sort of quick hitter. But if you have a full shot clock, I'm a retired guy, but I know that dribble handoffs into a misdirection, into a screen, what happens is that you're forcing people to communicate if they're switching, but you have the ability to manipulate the play because you don't have to accept the handoff. You can reject the handoff and go back door. But if you don't, you can then send a big for a screen, and then you could actually just run the handoff until you get one side wide open.
And you can also take advantage of the mismatch, which some team Holbrook was doing that. They were getting the handoff in the screen, and they were getting the mismatch, and Allen Brown was cooking the big every time they switched.
Yes, got the bros in the saying how many guys are coming back to St. Mary's. Masco's going to be back. Absolutely, I believe that.
St. Mary's is graduating Roki. They're graduating the two bigs. They're graduating John, who hit the big 3-pointer. Jason, who came off the bench with like 10 points. So I think they're graduating like 5 seniors. They got another couple other seniors from the bench that didn't really play, but 3 starters they're graduating.
Okay. All right. So shout out to Marcel for really getting this young man to join the show.
McCullough too. Hold on, McCullough too, though. McCullough.
McCullough as well. I didn't know. shout out to all y'all, right? He's not now. I will give it's back to back. Giving Mook the floor. Mook did say that Salem was the hardest team in the tournament, right? I'll give you your props. I kept picking against Salem. They used my voice for the video. I am amazed. I'm happy with that. Trust me. I don't know why people say things to me like my feelings are ever hurt. It just could never happen. I think it's an amazing thing. I 100% like love.
I know what you're doing right now.
But the thing is, right?
I know what you're doing right now, Corey.
The thing is, right?
He about to pull out his ring.
I'm looking forward to do that, right? I can a lot of these. I can play music. I can do all of that, right? All of that. So I don't mind any of that at all, right? But I loved it. I think it's great for Salem. I always said to everybody, right, whether I picked against them or not, I said the MIAA is always great when Salem is good.
And Brockton, you always say too.
Yep, Salem, Brockton, Springfield Central, right? Somebody in Worcester, right? Boston, right? Like you guys are at the mercy of those 5 places. Lynn, oh my God, you know what I mean? So like the gateway town. So shout out to y'all. We're fortunate to have Ellen Rodriguez. Are you there?
Yo, what's up?
All right, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Congratulations on the state title. Obviously, like I picked against y'all a few times, and I kept doing it because I realized y'all like the motivation. But congratulations to you, man, for just being a winner. I even changed your name into state champion on the air. You ain't do it yourself. Before the brothers get to you, man, how does it feel to bring a state title back to Salem?
It feels good just to have the city out there again. It's been a while since like the city popped out for like basketball games just to show love. So it feels good to have that out there because that doesn't really happen anymore. And especially to do with the group of people that I had. We always talked about this during the start of the season, even last year with the returns that we had. We always talked about just winning a state championship, and we always went into every game with the same mindset, the same aggression to always win a game.
Nah, man, we definitely enjoy watching you play. Anybody got a question for him? Mook, anyone? Yuli?
Yeah. What's going on, Elliot? Man, first, like this journey for you guys. I know we talked after the game. You talked about how I started last year after losing to Hanover, right? But how has this journey been for you guys? Because there were some games this season people wasn't buying in. They wasn't too sure how good you guys were going to be this year. But then you guys beat St. Mary's. You go on the road. You beat Masco. You get home. You beat Catholic Memorial. You go on the road and beat Beverly. What was this kind of the statement that you guys were making during those regular season games?
That we can compete with any team in the state, realistically. I was first started with the Beverly game. We went into the Beverly game and everybody thought we were gonna end up losing that game because Beverly had all the hype. And so like I just practice and everything. We always talk about how we can compete with every team as long as we go out there and do our job and know the scouting report and execute it. We can compete with any team, and I feel like that's what we did really well.
You had some other guy. Also, before I let somebody else go, talk about Caesar.
No.
Caesar all season, he was tasked with guarding the other team's best players, and a lot of the times they didn't get double digit scoring on him, or if they did, they had to take a lot of shots. And he made the biggest play of you guys this season with that steal. Just how much of a big key factor he was for you guys this season.
He was a big heart on the team. He always made it his mission to shut down the other player. Every single time he had an assignment, that was his number one goal, to not let the other person score. Obviously, the other person scored, but he definitely shut them down to their lowest. It's like Jacob, for an example. Jacob was averaging 20-something at the time, 25, 23. and he shut him down to like 12, I think. And it's like that's just a game changer right there. Because if Jacob goes out and scores 23 points, that's a whole different ball game that we have. And so just for him to do his job and execute it well and shut him down, it just gives us a bigger step to getting the win.
G, you go next because that sounds like you.
Yeah, that sounds. So, first and foremost, again, congratulations, man. You're at a school that had some amazing legends come out of there. As in Scooney Penn, Rick Brunson, Jamal Kamad, those guys. I know you probably heard of them. That's a big history for your school with those guys that have played there. What is my question is going to be? What is the core values that you got that made you guys stick together to lock in for this magical run this year? What are the things that you guys preached at the beginning of the season that got you to this point now?
Like everybody says, high school is gonna be your favorite moment in life once it goes by. So we just talked about how like if we win a state championship right now with everybody right here on this team, that's never gonna get forgotten in this history of Salem nor in our mind. To go out there and just win a state championship with your friends, your brothers, it's a better feeling than anything in the world.
Wow, good, like that.
Go ahead, Yuli.
When you guys dropped that game to Swampscott, how did you come together after the game and regroup and be like, "This isn't us. We're gonna go and win a state title"?
After that game, obviously we went on like a 14-0 run before that loss, and after that loss, we were upset. We don't like to lose, but we were kind of glad that we lost. Not that we were winning too much, but it just woke us up, saying that like if we don't come one night and we don't bring it, any team can compete with us and any team can beat us. So it just woke us up and kept us on our toes and got us to refocus again.
Fred, and I'll go after you, Fred.
I mean, great question, great responses, man. Once again, brother, congratulations. I definitely thoroughly enjoyed watching you guys play this past season. My question to you is, which team would you say was the most challenging? I'm just curious. I'm just asking.
Uh, I'll say, I mean, I'll say Charlestown. I'll say Charlestown. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll say Charlestown. I feel like it was a mix of team and game wise as well, because their team obviously they're a well-rounded team. They have the guards, they have the big men, they have the shooters, the defenders, and everything. And obviously that night we didn't. Everybody on the team didn't play their best. Nate, our senior captain, he didn't play his best. Our junior Matt, he didn't really play his best. We just didn't come out, but they were a well-rounded team. They were knocking down good shots, big mans. They were doing what they do down low, getting their layups, getting second chance points. Because that's what mostly their points were. Half of their points were second chance points, and that's what they did well on. But
Gotcha.
obviously, I had a game that night, and I made it my mission not to go home that night.
Facts.
Yeah, that game too, that Charlestown game,
Classic.
it was tied at halftime. It was tied
Mhm.
going into the fourth. The largest lead I think was 6 points, and and even with that three possession game, there was a run that cuts the lead down. It sounded like it was one of those games that somebody had to make a play because both, as you said, both teams weren't shooting the ball very well. It came down to who's going to make the plays inside the paint.
Yeah, man. Okay. So, young man, I am the man that gave you your score sheet at the
Yeah.
game. After the game, gave it to your mom, told you to frame it. Hope you do that because that is history. I want to speak on. So when I watched you warm up, and I hadn't seen you this season. When I watched you warm up, I'm like, is this the guy? Because you just looked so calm. Like I literally studied your warm up. Corey and I do this. I studied your warm up, and I'm like, and you stayed by yourself. Towards the end of it, there's probably like 2 minutes left in the warm up before they call you guys out for the anthem. You stayed out there by yourself, and I think it's on my stream. It's on my IG. I said, this guy's about to come out here and cook, and I watched you. I'm front row. I'm on the floor level at the media table. No one could cover you, brother. No one could cover you. Those kids in that first quarter you had, You were quiet in the second and third, and I know you know that. But that first quarter was one of the better first quarters I've seen, quarters, period, I've seen from a guard. Whereas you're taking 1, 2, 3 dribbles. You're not dribbling the air out the ball. Yeah, it doesn't take you 400 dribbles to get by somebody. You're catching the ball in the wing. 1, 2, 3, defender disappears, putting the ball in the basket. That was fun to watch. I want to ask you when did the moment hit you that you guys were actually state champions? Was it when you went in the locker room and made the video for Corey? I'm going with Hanover. Or was it like later at home when you got home and you're not with your boys anymore? You know, mom's not crying anymore, and you're just sitting in your room and you're like, yo, I did it. We did this. So tell me when that moment hit you.
I think it was to be honest, I think it was on the ride back home, getting escorted by like the police and everything in the bus.
Yeah,
It's just going on.
He broke up a little bit. E, can you hear us? He's having technical difficulties. But if you guys don't know, I'll fill it in for him real quick, and then I will reiterate what he's saying. They had a police escort. I heard the call. I heard the coach's call up. He jumped off. He's probably gonna come back on. He jumped off of the stream that we're on, and he's probably gonna hop back on the stream that we're on. The coaches called the police, Salem police, and then the police escorted the kids home, which I think is dope. And I think that's what he was trying to tell us.
BPD would have looked at me crazy.
Crazy, right?
I will speak. I will say.
BPD would have looked at me crazy. Hold on, he's back.
Yeah,
he's back.
Yo, E, you back?
I think it's trying to come back in.
You back?
We don't hear him. Tell him to unmute himself.
I hear him.
I don't hear him.
I thought he just said hello. I wanted to ask him about lost in all this, right? Is their coach.
Correct.
Coach Doyle, right? I thought the first Salem game I watched, I listened to the broadcast. And that's the first Salem I listened to their broadcast. Shout out to their broadcast team, right? Because they actually like they were like unbiased in a way, right? E, are you there?
McCall tech
right?
Unmute.
Nah, he's unmuted. He's unmuted. So shout out to the coach for really building that foundation and really having his players prepared. I think it's really dope. The question I was gonna ask you, man, and I know we're probably gonna move on, and we appreciate you coming on. Is I was gonna ask him like to make his claim for being the number 1 team in the state, because you could, given how a 4-team seed could win D1 and how close the D2 was, and you beat one of the D2 and you beat the champs, right? You know, I remember there was a year where we were D2, we were D4, and we were trying to make an argument. I wonder what that's like. Elliot, are you there? Elon, am I saying your name right? You there? All right, so yeah, thank you for coming on, man, and you know, hopefully as we continue to interview other players, you can come back and join us.
I just want to jump in real quick and just give him a shout out. I like how he explained about the like I from a player's perspective, I know what that's like when they pick you up from where you just played and they escort state police and then your town police escort you in back to your school. It's kind of dope. So shouts out to
and shout out to Nate Lane and his granddad John, who really showed support on Twitter for Salem and everything Salem basketball. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rick Brunson and Scooney Penn talked to them before the game too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Who better? They won state titles, so who better? Yep.
And I'm not gonna also give Hanover their props as well.
Just say it one more time, Corey. Say it just for the stream.
Oh, for the audio.
Just say it.
I don't have Hanover. But my man Ryan from Hanover number 13, he's tough. I will say about this tournament, I've seen more games end in this tournament off of a defensive play.
Yeah.
Right. I've seen more games end off a defensive play. Steals at the end of the game, steals in the last possession. The Central Catholic Beverly game, right? Then we have the other games, like, just amazing. So, D3 there's a lot going on with D3. Cathedral, Charlestown, Norwell, Greater Lawrence, Salem, Lynn Classical, like D3. There's a while where D3 on the girls' side went Archbishop Williams and Cardinal Spellman.
Yeah.
D3, and D3 was the move. So I'm just wondering if we're going to look at something like that next year. Going up,
Corey, keep that D3 in mind. Continue.
Corey, quick question. Imagine if Wareham never moved to D4. Can we imagine Salem and Wareham in the championship game? That would be fun to watch. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That'll be absolutely crazy. Insane. Wareham wins. Speaking of Wareham, they knock off Georgetown. Stop Georgetown from repeating. Georgetown coach leaves and goes to St. Mary's, wins the state title. Shout out to the cat who took over, and then Wareham just hammered them. And it wasn't like it was a close game, and Georgetown actually was up, as y'all know. We all saw the game. Yuli, what do you think about Wareham? Wareham and their win.
Yeah, I saw Wareham game against Brockton. I knew from they were just good. They beat a lot of impressive teams, including Bishop Fien. They're just talented. They run a storm against you. Like, Georgetown played them very well, and Georgetown's a really good team. But Wareham, it doesn't matter what they're facing; they're gonna win the game. They have good shooting. They have good paint play. Everything about them is just so talented that they're just one of the most put together teams I've seen in the state all year.
I'm gonna say from what I saw that championship game, Georgetown. I think Georgetown played, in my opinion, Georgetown played for the first half, and then they woke up towards the end of the game because at halftime they were up 12, and then when that third quarter came, Wareham went on a run like you wouldn't believe. And I kept texting you guys, like, just watch how Wareham, they started to play patient. They slowed down and did something I thought Coach Rodriguez did a real good job, is instead of getting to a back and forth with Georgetown, he slowed it down a little bit on the offensive side of the ball and really started running their sets to the point where Wareham got their best players got whatever they wanted, literally. And then before you know it, that lead ballooned. So Wareham again, that all. And one thing that I did like was even the broadcaster for the game said, this also goes back to the strength of schedule that Wareham had playing the New Bedfords, playing those tougher teams that allowed them to work on that type of craft. So again, Wareham, I wouldn't be shocked. They only lose one. They'll be right back.
Two, but
if they lose two, but I think they'll be right back.
I mean, they got
this game.
The kid Aaron's the all-time leading scorer at a school that had Darren Fernandez, Jordan Resendez, and Jules Tavares. Think about that.
And more.
He got three. And more. He had 3 state titles. Crazy. Shout out to the coaching staff as well. That coaching staff, like the sub coaching staff that just wear the same joint and they look disjointed. They wore the same joint and look connected.
I think this game, I rewatched it. This game was just a matter of shots going in. That was it. That Wareham didn't do. They played their game. First half, they weren't making any shots. They weren't making any shots at all. Georgetown offense was flowing. They was getting what they wanted. Even that got them a 12-point lead. But then Aaron made a big shot right before the half, kind of. That got him going, and then they came out in the second half just on fire, especially Aaron and Malachi played really well. But on Georgetown's end, Georgetown got the shots they wanted. They got everything that they wanted to get. They just weren't falling. I mean, the layup started, when things are going bad, when you start missing shots at the basket, the open threes weren't falling, and it was just one team was making shots in the second half, the other team wasn't. Sometimes that's how the game goes.
I had to rewatch this game on video. Shout out McCullough because I was at the event at Gillette Stadium for the women's soccer team. Shout out to them. Good event. Day one. But I've seen Wareham. Saw him against Brockton. Was super impressed. So impressed that I drove down to New Bedford to see that game. And they were impressive in that, even though they lost the game. Just a phenomenal program. It's hard to pick against Wareham. So I'll let some of you other guys talk. But yeah, just a great performance. They had the best player on the floor, and he did what he's supposed to do. Next.
Right.
There's not much I'm going to add on. Like I said, I was thoroughly impressed by the Wareham's performance, offensive schemes, their grit. Yeah, they're just fun to watch. And again, I'll be there next year to support them. Like I said, they're a fun group of kids to watch play. Hey, yo, Corey, real quick. Remember the redheaded kid from the Wareham team with Tavares?
Marcus Houtman.
Yeah. I think that was his name. Yeah, tough kid. I don't know.
Marcus Houtman. Is he?
He's New Bedford.
Yeah,
New Bedford kid.
New Bedford, not Wareham.
Oh.
Yeah. He's New Bedford kid. Well, he's older. He's older. I will say this, right? There's some feedback. Somewhere. Is that me? Oh. You guys can hear that feedback?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
I think it's got to be you.
It ain't. All right. So with that being said, let's go to Division 5. I will say something crazy about D5. I had Hoosac Valley. I had them dead to rights every single game.
Yeah, facts.
They just came back every single time I turned my head. Like, shout out to y'all. Like, yo, you got it, man. Y'all doubled up on the boys' side and the girls' side. I ain't gonna bring up the dunk without bringing up the dunk at the end of the game. We've been moving furniture, but I get it. But shout out to y'all for knocking off a bunch of some good teams. I picked against y'all, and Hoosac Valley wins. Anybody?
I'll go. You mentioned the dunk. I said it on my stream. I was a little hype at the time. I did not like it, but I did like their just fight. They came out and they just showed their dominance and they outwilled Holbrook. I thought in the game prior, even the game where Brown had 46, that Holbrook had just played a little bit too cool. They weren't very urgent. They just didn't have urgency in their approach, and it caught up with them. Unfortunately, it caught up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you done? You good?
Yeah, because I hear the feedback, so I'm not going to keep talking.
I'll say this.
It's doubling up.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's screen because it's not mine. I'm trying to figure out where it's at.
It's not me.
Everybody shuts off their microphone until they.
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, shout out to Orlando.
And shout out to Jayla. My daughter Jayla's in there.
And shout out to Jayla. Yo, I would go have lunch. I'll buy the Salem Tea pizza, right? But the pizza got to be good because I'm a pizza connoisseur.
Same here.
Pick y'all spot. That doesn't mean anybody needs to get tough.
No, never.
It's all for the games.
No,
yes, happily able to do that.
What I was gonna say was to piggyback on what Marcel said about Holbrook. I feel like the sense of urgency wasn't there in that championship game.
Yeah, man.
It seemed like they were just. It's one thing to be there. It's another thing to be happy to be there. And I felt like Holbrook was happy to be there. I didn't see that sense of urgency in previous games. It just seems like they were just going through the motions. And sometimes, and Hosack, that kid number 12, man, Bobby Surra reincarnated from Florida State. He plays just like him.
I will tell you,
literally.
Holbrook
Shouts out to them.
Holbrook played like a team that looked at the film and was like, "Yeah, we gonna get."
He made 7 threes.
Right?
He was cooking.
They played like a team that looked at the film and was like,
Yeah.
Like, and that's no knock on them. But I'll tell you one thing: their coach has been coaching for 46 years. I think that's the number, 46 years. Shout out to him. Put him in. You get past 30, you need to be in somebody's Hall of Fame. I don't care what your record is. Right?
I believe he already is in the Hall of Fame. No, he went in the Hall of Fame a couple years back.
Okay. Now, if that's what I'm playing for in year 46, I can't put that on him. Somebody gotta will. And I'm not knocking the Kid Brown's phenomenal big boy stuff. Yeah, I don't.
They couldn't box out. They couldn't keep him out. They couldn't keep Hoosac Valley off that offensive glass. They had numerous offensive rebounds. The kid Bradley and Johnson were just giving them issues on the inside. And yeah, as you said, the kid Wicks, he was shooting the lights out. That young man was shooting the lights out. He got him in the game.
That leads back to the Brody thing. How many times are you gonna watch the kid lay the ball up for Hoosac Valley before you help him up off the ground? You can help him up, but he's got to feel the earth. Like you got to foul. Hey, Greg Berry, tap. Your first foul is your worst foul. Like, you got to give him something. Can't just let him lay the ball in every time. He's just laying the ball up unimpeded. I don't know. I'm not saying go out there hurt anybody. Let's not do that. Let's not be dumb in the street. That's not what we're saying. We're saying play hard. Don't give up layups. Come on. Stop letting people just lay the ball up. Foul them. It's part of the game.
But I agree. But I'm gonna say I think that's the way basketball is trending, especially in amateur and high school.
Is that how Bam Adebayo gets 83 points? So you're right. You're right.
Yeah, it's how it's trending now, where if you even like cough on the player, they're afraid they're going to get a foul call. Whereas before, we're not saying, hurt somebody's career, whatever. We're just saying there's nothing wrong with a hard foul. There's nothing wrong with a slap on the hand and yes, ref, I did it as he goes to the basket, or even tie it up, right? Tie him up when he goes to the basket and both of y'all go to the floor. At least that shows some form of having some type of aggression when you play defense.
But it's also psychological, right? Like you gotta get people thinking, right? Like
correct.
People gotta be looking over their shoulders. Like like if people are comfortable, and that's the word, comfort. People are just, if you can't allow people to be comfortable, right? Like I don't care, any advantage is an advantage. And guess what? My philosophy is the kids will tell you, if everybody's fouling, they can't call them all.
Correct. Greg, do not say that.
Yeah.
You can't call them all. Right? So that's it. Let's slide to on the ladies' side. Jesus. I thought it was an upset. It probably wasn't an upset. The Wachusett knocks off Springfield Central. I will say this about Wachusett. I think it's the Lochner girl was amazing. She took over that game in the second half. I hate that it will get. I was gonna make a statement about Wallace on the Springfield team. I'll dumb my statement down and say we'll be watching her for a very long time on TV. I think she's that good. And shout out to Wachusett. Shout out to Wachusett, man. They get it done again.
Anybody? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. Wachusett's, congrats to you guys. I also had Springfield Central, but Wachusett's again, they've always had a great system, great coaching staff. They do amazing with the girls there. You can see it. They showed it in that game. They came out and they imposed their, in the words of Marcel, will over skill. They just basically kind of pretty much outclassed Springfield Central a little bit, and they willed that game. That's why the game kind of got out of hand a little bit. So shouts out to them. Springfield Central will be back, though. I like that team, and I like that core that they have.
They got no seniors. I will say this is really quick. Chico, if we get the invite, we'll come up there. We'll do a show. Why not? So
Chico Summers gets wild.
Whose feedback is that? Hold on, let me figure that out. Whose feedback is that? It's actually Marcel's. Marcel, here's your feedback. Because it went away when I muted you. Oh, somebody's.
It's not me. I only muted myself when I talked, and I heard it on other people.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely not me.
It's Mukala.
All right, someone else go.
I was really impressed with Wachusett. I picked them to win from the start. They were just smoking teams all year. I saw a couple of their games. If Medfield's the best team in the state, they're the second best team in the state, and I was just really impressed with them all year. I knew Springfield Central would put up a fight, but I think Wachusett just overpowered them, and they showed why they're the best team in D1, and I was just impressed.
I'm gonna go because I owe them an apology. I was talking crazy. I mean, obviously, I know they've been around for quite some time, but I didn't know they were gonna play like that. So, hats off to those young ladies out there.
So for me, everyone knows I've been a Wachusett fan for over a decade now. Boys and girls side. I came across some of the stuff they were doing on the boys side. Yeah, about a decade ago now. Some of the 5-out stuff, and I loved it. And then I started paying more attention to the girls part of it, and they are just amazing. I picked against them. I picked Central, but I'll never pick against Wachusett again. And the little guard, she put on a show. One of my favorite performances I've seen in the whole tournament.
You're my favorite. Did Muko?
Or who else is going? Or are we moving on?
All right, let's move on. Division 2 winner on the girls' side, Medfield. I mean, what can we say? Best team. You know, there is a close second. System. You know, I tweeted today that like culture is greater than a system, and culture is nothing but a system being executed well. And I think that's that's what I think about when I think about what Medfield.
Yeah, a lot of.
Go ahead, Yuli.
Yeah, you know, some people thought we were crazy when we said Medfield by 15. They ended up doing a lot more than that. Medfield was just blowing teams out. They beat so many good out-of-state teams too. They're a powerhouse. They're a never-ending storm. And when you play them, you gotta, even if you're on their A game, they're gonna dominate you.
Move.
So I knew that they would just win and win with ease, and it wasn't even a challenge.
Real quick, I'll hold on, G. I'm going to go quick. When you drive around the town, you understand why Medfield is so good. They've deeply, deeply invested from the little kids like Tori, who was in, or Corey's daughter, who was in the chat, on the stream. Like from little children all the way to grandparents are fully invested in girls basketball in Medfield, and that's why they dominate everybody.
And just to tack on to what you said, Marcel, that because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Medfield, they thrive in the sport. All the girls there, you have 2 and 3 sport athletes, but they definitely focus in on the basketball piece there, especially with the travel program they have there. Also the CYO they have there. So you're looking at those things, and they all stay together. Keywords, all stay together. And that's the result you get when you're coming against that. I do want to give a shout out to St. Mary's, because yes, you lost to a buzzsaw, you lost to a more experienced team, but you all are young. There's no seniors on St. Mary's, right? Is that correct, right, McCullough? There's none on that St. Mary's girls team. They're pretty much all young. And the good thing about that is you got the experience of getting there. So hopefully that will create hunger for you to get back. So shouts out to Medfield. Congratulations. St. Mary's, you'll be right back.
Get this man a rosary.
Oh man, the Catholic tournament.
Bishop Greg.
St. Mary's
Bishop Gregory
held up as long as they could.
Say that again, Mo.
The St. Mary's girls, they held up as long as they could. They just couldn't score.
Yeah,
Defense held up as long as they could, but that second half, Medfield hit them with that run, and they couldn't match score for score. And then the 3-ball started going from Medfield, and yeah, that was about it. But St. Mary's, they graduating, I think 2 seniors. They got a lot of freshmen and sophomores on the team.
Yeah, I mean, got what good coaching all around. I think we'll do. I thought this was going to be our last episode, but I think we have to get some coaches on. So stay tuned, We might have to talk with some coaches. I actually need a coach. Maybe a coach or two could probably cuss me out or something like that. Maybe if y'all want to question something, more than happy to come on the show and we could talk basketball. I would just love to talk basketball and culture philosophy. So if you're out there, you're listening, you want to hop on the show, we could just talk basketball.
I got some questions for some coaches, especially the hired one.
You know what? The underrated skill, the most underrated skill in coaching is theft.
Stealing.
You got to steal from other people. If you're not stealing from another coach, you are below average.
But here's the thing: you got to steal the things that will work for you.
For you, right? Like you got to steal from somebody, because a lot of times we look at what other people do. We're like, yo, that didn't work for them. Well, shit, that could work for me. I'll take that horns play. I'll take that play off y'all. But that's neither here nor there. D3, Fenwick knocks off Pittsfield. It's the game that we all didn't think we would love. It's the game that we all thought we would not love, and I love this game.
I loved it too.
Yo, Nielsen from Bishop Fenwick is a problem. I believe that's number 3. She's a problem. But I'll let Mook go. You're muted, brother. Hold on. I'll unmute you. I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
I've seen Bishop Fenwick a couple times. They are really good. They're really good. They got the height. They had the height advantage in the game, but I was more impressed with Pittsfield, even though they lost. I was just more impressed.
I was the only one who picked Pittsfield, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. I was thoroughly impressed. They coach out there with a broken leg, coaching with a broken leg. The girls out there scrapping. Like I said, Caprice Conyers, she caught my attention. That was my favorite player on the court that game. But yeah, Fenwick, those two seniors, Caitlin and Celia Nielsen. Oh, those girls are good. Those girls are good. And talking to the coach afterwards, he was really happy because he felt like 2 years ago, well, when those girls were freshmen, they lost to St. Mary's on a late game block by I forget the young lady's name. She's at Monmouth right now. I think she's a junior, but she had a game-winning block in that game, and then they couldn't play, and they were banned from postseason. They had a postseason ban when they had a really good team with some stuff that happened. I think with like the hockey team or something like that, and for them to get this moment to close it out, it was really big for them.
Yeah, shout out to their AD. I saw him at the Emmanuel, and I was like, well, good to have y'all back. Universes, it's an autocorrect once Fenwick is involved. But I also give a shout out to Pittsfield. They just played straight. They played them straight. Like undersized. Like shout out. Go ahead, Yuli.
Yeah, I saw them in the semis. They shot the lights out of the ball. They're a hot shooting team. You let them get hot from deep, it's over. They were good. They're good defensively. They're disciplined. They pulled it out, and they deservedly so.
I really enjoyed watching Pittsfield. What I liked about their aggressiveness is they didn't talk at all. They literally didn't speak to their opponent at all. They just turned around, stole the ball, laid it up, locked up, dove on the floor, pushed kids, fouled, didn't say a word. Nothing, literally. And they just played basketball. Shout out to Fenwick for just doing everything right, even with all that, the face of all that pressure, some adversity. I mean, Pittsfield started coming back, and Fenwick never blinked. They never blinked. That was a fun game to watch. One of the more underrated games of the whole tournament, either side of the basketball.
They hit them with a 13-0 run. That's what gave them that cushion. They hit Pittsfield with a 13-0 run at some point in the third quarter. Yeah. That's really what got them that cushion they needed to hold on to that lead they had.
So, I picked Frontier. I was the only one I think that picked them in Division 4. South Hadley was like, yeah, all right. I was wrong about South Hadley getting the double. They did not get the double. Husak did not get the double. Shout out to South Hadley for winning that game. It was actually a pretty good game to watch. Frontier just didn't have it. So shout out to South Hadley. Is this their third or second in a row?
This is their first.
Their first. Okay.
Yes. So
that was because of Cathedral, right?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, so I'm going to say that.
They lost.
Congratulations, South Hadley. The monkey is off your back. The wolf has went to another forest. So you can now come out and play and be competitive and go into a game knowing that it's going to be competitive and you don't have to fight fourth quarter and then end up losing by 50. So good job on the first
Bishop
one.
Gregory's on a roll when it comes to the Catholics, huh? Go ahead.
I'm being totally honest. So, great job. I'm glad you all won it. I chose you guys to win. I did watch that game on Sunday. I was like, yes, they pulled it off because I wanted to see you guys win that game. And you guys are going to be very strong for Division 4. And so continue that. Now you don't got to worry about a ghost. That ghost is in D3 now. So keep doing what you're doing over there, and y'all are going to continue.
Yeah, good point, man. I think they're going to be around for a while with now that the other team has moved on. Cathedral, I mean, we know who it is. Cathedral's moved on. And not that they couldn't have maybe competed down the road, but in the current times, every time they were facing Cathedral, it was just, an issue. But they're going to be good for some time, and that's going to be good to see. So shout out to South Hadley. Anyone else?
No, you
Nah,
said
shout out
everything I would
Pat
say.
Lee. They had it.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right.
Yeah, I I tell y'all right now, Cathedral losing is people gonna have to pay for that next year. 'Cause I saw Lassiter in the game, and he was looking for blood. So that
Yeah,
may be the best thing that ever happened to them.
yeah, I agree. I think Cathedral sometimes you need a humbling, and moving up in the division doesn't mean you're going to run the division. So you had to come get a humbling, and that's what they got. So they'll be ready next year. Not too worried about them.
They'll be right back. I got this one wrong. Division 5, Hopedale wins. Drury, never picking y'all again. Sorry. Until otherwise, y'all pick me, man. Y'all gonna have to sail on me for me to pick y'all again. Pick y'all. And shoot. But also like Hopedale went and took it from him, right? So shout out to Hopedale. You won the state championship. Anybody else?
Yes. I was front row and center for this game. Loved the tempo from Hopedale. Actually, and this is another thing, Corey, you and I talk about. Loved how Hopedale warmed up. Loved how they just warmed, like everything was game ready, game shots, game situations. Just a really in a really good. I started. I think that's the streams on my IG. I started just like focusing on the coach, just the coaching. I stole a couple things. I stole a couple things. I liked what I saw. Like in some things are gonna work with boys phenomenally. Yeah, I liked Hopedale. Shout out to them. I'm gonna really start paying deeper attention to Hopedale going forward because of that one game.
Yuli?
Yeah, Hopedale they're really good. They just dominated that game, and they're gonna be good for a while. That coach is great. He got his team together, and it was just a great game.
All right. So here's how we're gonna close out, because I don't want to, got 2-year-old nibbling at my feet here. Regards of division across the board on the boys' side, we already agreed to do another show with the coaches. Give me your top 3.
Top 3 what?
Rank your teams 1 to 3 across the board on the boys' side.
I'll let you guys go.
Go
ahead, Mo.
Salem, St. Mary's, Wareham.
Salem, St. Mary's. Across all divisions? Okay.
Top 3 teams.
I go Bishop Fien, Wareham, and Salem.
I like that, Yuli.
Okay. Fred?
Obviously, Bishop Fien, Salem. Where, truth be told, they didn't win, but man, dog, like I said, I was thoroughly impressed by their defense, man. Greater Lawrence was different, but I'll say Wareham and Greater Lawrence.
Did everybody go?
Nope. I didn't go. G didn't go, and you didn't go.
Yeah, I'll go.
Go ahead, Greg.
I'm going Bishop Fien, Salem, Wareham.
Would I be wild if I went New Bedford, even though, they didn't make it to the Final Four? New Bedford was very good. I have to go Fien, Salem, Central Catholic, with Wareham right outside of that. But yeah, Fien, Salem, Central Catholic.
All right. My number 1 team. I go 3-1. Fien's at 3. Salem's at 2. Springfield Central's number 1.
Interesting.
Not taking. I thought Springfield Central was the best team I saw in Division 1. And the reason why, because I watched the game. I saw like that game could have gone either way, right? The Central Catholic game, right?
Mhm.
I'm not taking nothing away from nobody. I thought they should have called the foul at the end of the game. It would have been over. He probably would have made a free throw. And all due respect to Fian, they was not beating Springfield Central. They would have not beaten Springfield Central. So I thought the best team in the tournament was Springfield Central. Then I would take Salem, right? Because I feel like Salem got so hot, right? And then I'll go with Fian because obviously, you know, they beat Central.
Go ahead, Fred, because I got something to say about that.
Yeah, so Corey, respect for you, brother. Like all year we heard Central Catholic, the boogeyman, like Central Catholic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, they clicked at the right time, but they should have got bounced against Beverly. They definitely should have lost against Springfield Central. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Corey, man. How many? I don't know. I mean, like I said, man. They got a great coach.
I didn't put them in my top 3.
Oh, my fault.
I'm tripping.
That was Marcel.
Listen. Well, you know, you could say the same thing about Central with the 6 losses, seven losses on the season. I will say this: Fian beat a 1, 2, 3 in a 6 seed, and I forget what the other seed. That's never been done.
Great.
1, 2, 3, 6. I just, they're very good. They're very good.
I didn't put Wareham in my top 3 because I saw them against New Bedford.
I forgot to say honorable mention.
Hold on, G. They almost won that game, Corey. We were all at that game, bro.
Hold on. You know the Bain quote? Did you feel in charge? I don't feel that. I didn't feel that at any point. I didn't feel that at any point.
What? Feel what?
That Wareham was in the New Bedford game that it was like really, really super close.
Oh no, I never felt that Wareham was gonna win that game.
What?
No.
Yo, I wasn't going. Hold on, Corey. I wasn't going to throw shade or throw shots, man. Yo, there was no X's and O's being. Listen, you know what? I digress, man. I'm gonna leave that alone, bro.
The diamond press is just too much.
Listen. New Bedford, to their credit, they was one of the best teams in the state without running a single play, or set or philosophy. So it is what it is. But
I respect that.
That's the same thing damn thing with Brockton.
Yo, Orlando's coming for you.
Orlando is on this.
Don't get me started. So let me finish. Let me finish with this, right? And it's a great point that all of us made at some point, right? Listen, you gateway towns, whoever you want to call yourselves, like you city, you urban, teams, or you want to call them. Listen, or I could just say it straight up. You black kids that play basketball, you Hispanic kids that play basketball. What's up with y'all in the zone?
Yeah, man. It's ridiculous.
Like
nasty word, bro.
Like, yo, I'm telling y'all right now, right? The zone made a comeback in this tournament.
Hanover zone versus Greater Lawrence.
No. The zone made a comeback in the tournament. With the Wachusett zone, they slapped on Springfield Central girls. The zone, listen, if you're going to do anything, you find a universal offense that goes against all zones, right?
If you want a universal offense that goes against all zones, contact me on Twitter or Instagram, and I will give you something, and you will literally buy me Cape Cod extra cheese pizza and some steak fries for the info.
All I'm telling you is this. If you do not, just tell your players, the goal is to get the ball to the middle.
Gaps.
Don't have your players think that you're trying to score from the middle. You have to do one thing immediately when you get the ball to the middle. Look baseline. If you get that ball to the baseline, look middle. You want to see somebody crawl out of the zone? That's what you do. On top of that, the zone is the most disrespectful thing that you could ever do to a team. You may as well talk about my kids and my mama. If you're gonna come up in here and zone me, listen, even if you set an inside screen, right? If you gotta screen, if it's an odd front, you screen the top of the key. If it's an even front, right? If it's an even front, you split them up. You screen the inside.
You go odd. Right?
And all you have to do is to tell the guards to look at how the opposite defender is playing the weak side guy. And life is good.
And you attack the back of the zone. See, a lot of people get concerned with the front of the zone and the two guards. You look beyond that. You attack the back of the zone. Attack the back of every zone and get in the gaps.
Because the reason that you want to find a way to attack the baseline behind the zone, because you have 2 or 3 guys who literally cannot see a human being behind you.
Correct.
Because
you want to stay hidden in the zone.
Right? Like, I'm not disrespecting anybody in any way. I'm passionate about basketball. All I'm saying is this. The zone has cost a lot of teams in our community games. All right. Now, let's end on this. This is the question that we're going to end on, and we're going to have our coaches on. The question I want to end on is this, and I'll start with you, Lee. Is this going back to Bumilla? Is this the most dominant? If this wasn't the most dominant state tournament run, who was?
I'm the youngest here, so all I can say is that, and what I've seen is that Brody was the most dominant. He averaged 40 and 20. He played a 4 overtime game, then a 2 overtime game. He just dominated. They threw him the ball. He scored. He put that team on his back, and they got behind him, and that was the main thing. He's a team player, but he can also put up an individual performance that he needs to win.
Love him.
So I absolutely think that he's the most dominant that I've seen.
All right. Greg, you turned 50 this year. Who did you see? Who did you think?
That was wild.
Yeah, right. That was crazy. I'm gonna say, I have to say it, and I have to say it because he won it. I would compare it to Dana Barros, but Dana Barros lost
to Brockton. Orlando. Shout out Orlando.
I would also compare it to Travis Best as well. Travis Best had a hell of a run too.
Thanks.
But not in the tournament though. Just so
I was in Barbados scaling fish when Patrick Ewing won hit, so I ain't gonna say Patrick Ewing.
I was just saying Travis Best because that's what I remember.
Yeah.
I feel you.
But I would honestly say Brody, he got that. And I said this before, and I said it during his run. I said it should be he should get Player of the Year. Period. Doesn't matter if he's a baseball player and that's his first love, but for this sport and his run, you gotta give him Player of the Year.
I'm about to piss y'all off. Go ahead, Fred.
I think maybe. I mean, obviously, this is impressive, but Pat McCunnon, what's his name from St. John's?
I hate you, Fred. That's my answer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, his run was crazy, and then now correct me. I mean, they 4-peated. Maybe Ridley when he was at Seatown. Maybe
no.
But yeah, Pat. Yeah, I think it might be Pat.
Pat, and then I mean, there's another Pat you can add to that too. Pat Bradley at Everett when he was with Shannon Crooks and they won states. He averaged almost 30.
Numbers like this, guys.
McCullough.
No.
McCullough, don't say anybody from Lynn, man.
Yo, hold on. He can't because Ryan Williams. Everybody's still talking about Ryan Williams. They didn't win a damn thing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Go ahead, Mook.
Shout out my brother Ryan. All right, so for me, this is the most dominant performance run I've seen for me. So there was a point where I wasn't into the high school hoops. I was out of touch for a while since I got back into it. But Elion had a really dominant postseason himself this run. I think you gotta go look at his the numbers he was putting up this postseason scoring wise. Elion had a really dominant postseason.
But Brown did too.
For a guard, leading them to this title this year. I think he averaged 30. I think he averaged 30 plus, around 30 points per game this postseason. He was pretty dominant this postseason. But Brody definitely since I got back in tune with high school basketball, this was the most dominant one. But I put Elion's right there with him.
Marcel?
You don't want to go. Okay. Or you and I are doubling up for some reason. When you talk, doubling. So you go.
Say it again. Talk now.
Okay. So from what I've seen a lot. Like I said, I've seen 20 years straight now, and plus more. I gotta say, the way it happened, and for me to be in person, be there, I have to go with Brody because, so like Corey and I talked about, and Yuli was there. Well, you weren't there for the BR game, Yuli, but in the BR game, he had 18 in the third, end up with 46. 18 with 3 minutes and like something to go in the third, and end up with 46. Then the 53-point game, he went into, I think he had 25 at the end of the third and scored 53 in regulation. It means he had like 28 in one quarter. So it's something like that. My numbers could be off, but it was comical. I've never seen it be this easy. I will say that. And then when you add the rebounding in, and I could see where you're going to go with Pat, but Pat, it wasn't dominant like this. It wasn't.
That's not my answer.
It wasn't. And the block shots, especially like the help side defense punching the ball in the stands, or sometimes just catching the ball and possessing it. He hit a couple threes along the way. He hit his free throws. He got out of the game. I think the double overtime game, he got out of the game and went and lifted and pitched and threw like 100 pitches. At a workout after one of the games, he went and worked out. Someone told me that. Only his mom would know if it's accurate. I gotta go with Brody. I have to.
Okay. I respect that. I respect all y'all opinions, which is amazing. I'll go with my top four. Number 4, Luis Alicea.
Wait, why are you going 4?
Because hold on. I'm doing that because I'm leading up to my number 1.
Jesus.
Luis Alicea. Number 3, Pat Connaughton. Number 2, Brody. Number 1, Mike Lockman. Mike put BC on his back. Right? Was dominant.
Not like
the best
I
player.
love Mike. It wasn't like this.
It was in my opinion, it was slightly better. In my opinion, this is my opinion. For as far as like doing everything, and this is your point, your Kareem point, right? Somebody gotta get a ball. Mike had the ball. Mike shot the ball. Mike defended. Mike blocked shots. The whole nine. There's nothing wrong with being number 2. From my perspective,
yeah,
it's him. It's Mike.
I don't even think Mike was.
I would have hated.
Wait, hold on, Corey. You talking about his son?
Yeah,
BC High. Yeah,
no way, Corey.
Doing the podcast.
No way, Corey, bro.
No.
I want y'all to go back and look at the numbers that boy put up.
That team, that BC High team too was
Wasn't that they weren't they the 1 seed? This is the 14 seed.
They were dominant, but yeah, I forgot about Mike. I saw all them games. That Springfield, that Worcester North game, and
they would have beat the brakes off of
That version of Worcester North, I don't know.
No, they were Malden Catholic won the state tournament that year, and BC High beat them by like 20 each time.
Yeah, what did it one seed?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I have to go back.
Hey. Fellas, shout out to the players. I want to give you listen, young people, if you do your schoolwork, if you need some help trying to get into a college or university, if you want to talk about NCAA eligibility, if you just want to figure out what your future's like, every single one of us here, we invest in the young people in all seriousness. Happy to support any senior out there looking for an opportunity to be successful. And I'm sure, make sure y'all go and get some exposure by going on McCullough's. McCullough has a whole studio, so we'll try to get up in there. On Lynn TV. What does the C stand for? What does the C stand for now?
That's Lynn Community.
Community. LTC. Lynn Community Television.
Yeah, I had Bella on there today. You know, me and her chopped it up. You know, Gatorade Player of the Year.
Well, listen. This is all about the kids. And I hope to see y'all play at the college level. I think one of the things that we enjoy is that we go and we follow players and watch them play. It's just so important to stay connected to kids, and because 20 years from now, somebody's going to appreciate the fact that some old guy walks up to him and be like, "Yo, man, you dropped 40, somewhere."
Hey, Tori, real quick, not to cut you off. I said this to Brody's mom today. I said, hey, listen, just so you know about the character of the guys I'm on the podcast with, we're not just like looking at Brody like, oh, he dominated the tournament, so like we're a fan of him now. Like, we're gonna watch him pitch. Like, we're gonna follow him when he's a pro. Like, we're not just that guy in the moment. That's cool that you said that without you and I talking about this, because I actually made that. I said every single one of us on the podcast will probably hit you up 7 years from now and say, oh, wow, it's cool that we saw Brody pitch a no-hitter for the Red Sox. You know what I mean? And she was thankful for that. So that's a great point you made. Best point you made all night. You're wrong about.
I'm full of these best points. Shout out to Mike.
No, they're wrong about Mike, but it's Brody.
It's all good. But
I might actually catch a baseball game. I might catch one of his baseball games. I got to catch one of his baseball games.
Might have to.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, Yuli, is Brookline going to win it next year? That as soon as the season's over,
probably not. No.
Why?
It depends if certain players come back.
Right. So in the next show we'll have the coaches, and then we'll do some predictions for next year. Give us some time to do some homework.
Shout out to my little sister. She just got accepted to Johnson in Wales. So
hey, congratulations!
That's where my son went. My son graduated from.
All right. Who's your shout out?
I was gonna say that the Needham Bishop Fian game was the best game I've seen in my history of watching games.
Greg, who's your shout
out? Just want to shout out to all you guys. This guys was amazing. Shout out to the whole basketball season on both boys and girls side. Hopefully next year it'll be up another volume. Gonna take this time real quick to first and foremost say thank you to all you guys. Thank you to all the past coaches that I've coached. But this season coming up, 26, 27, will be my last year coaching high school basketball. So I want to just tell everybody, thank you for everything. Thank you for it'll be another time that I speak on it, but that's just a short thing. This is amazing. I'm glad we're able to do it, but effective starting my last season comes up this season. So be fun to go out and watch some basketball, but also coach it in my last run. So thank you guys.
Probably the most underrated 300 win coach around, right? Shout out to UG. Fred. You can't say shout out to Hyde Park either.
Nah, shout out to Zavarian, man, because I had y'all going out since like the first round, and y'all find your way to advance. So, shout out to y'all, man. What's the school that beat Holbrook? Because I definitely did not see them come. Because the game
Who's
before that,
Oh, P Valley. I mean,
P Valley.
Woodside Valley.
Yeah, but shout out to those two towns, man. Yeah, it was a great season, great show. Yeah. One last. Well, I have nothing else to say, but Pastor Greg, you gonna close us out in a prayer?
Bishop Gregory, Marcel.
So for me, I'm just gonna shout out Marcel, Jayla, Jordan, Million, and July, my children. Because without them, I would be like literally nothing. I'm not even sure I would be here talking to you guys. So they keep me grounded. They keep me in shape. They keep me active. And I love them beyond words. So I'm just going to shout out my children.
It's very interesting that hopefully we can do the show since I plan to be back on the sideline next year. So shout out to any coach who wants to get some revenge. You better get it. You better get me in year one because year two, we're going to be talking about us on the show. So with that being said, but seriously, shout out to all the kids who are focused on going to college and trying to make things happen and be the best thing that ever happened to their family. So catch y'all later.
TMT.
Fellas, good job.
The MIAA tournament.
MIAA.